Hi everybody. I'll let you in on a secret of permaculture, subsistence or neo-peasantry in the autumn in cool temperate areas. So what I'm doing here at the moment in the garden is using a whole lot of waste materials, generative waste from the abundance of leaf litter, of deciduous trees, the waste excrement of our goats and sheep. In here, this beautiful soily, nitrogenous-y stuff. The waste product of the bourgeois mainstream media. We've got Australia has Murdoch, which is about 45% of the media, and we've also got Nine Entertainment, which is the other 45%, and then there's 10% of sort of fringe media. But yeah, most of the media is owned by those two conglomerates. They serve the banker's realm, so we don't obviously read that rubbish, but it's really great carbon and waste material that we get from the local real estate agent. News agent, thanks. So yeah, and also this precious sawdust from our friends sawmill, and they only use natural wood, so there's no industrial chemicalized glues and things like that. It's just natural hardwoods and softwoods. So with these four products, or abundant resources, newspaper, leaves, manure and sawdust, I'm addressing the beds for winter. Some will have alliums growing, some will have broad beans, some will be left to go fallow for the winter months just to recuperate. And what I'm doing with the leaves is laying down the newspaper. In this section I've pricked into the newspaper garlic, as I have just up here, and then layered the leaves and the manure over the top. In that first bed of garlic is newspaper and humanure. This time of year, just an abundance of weeds happens, and in some parts of the garden that's great because that's going to feed us over winter with very little work. We've got wild radish, dandelion, chickweed, flickweed or pennycress, which is very dominant in winter, and it just takes over everywhere. So all of these weeds are generous givers to soil and to our bodies. They're full of nutrients and vitamins and minerals, but I'm really wanting to arrest the weed load in the garden. So this is the way that I do it. Newspaper down, leaves on top, and then after the leaves on top, a smattering of manure to hold down the leaves, but also creating that biomimicry that a forest has. So leaves fall down, animals come along, manure onto it, birds drop manure, all sorts of mammals and insects, and the birds die, which is also part of the nitrogen cycle. So yeah, marrying the nitrogen and carbon cycle in the garden, mimicking what a healthy forest is to make humus. Because unlike the newspapers, which are full of hubris, what we're trying to establish in this subsistence permaculture is humus, and to be in love with the soil, to be love with humus making. And of course, humus comes from the root word humility. So our hands are in the soil, our hands are in the leaves, and at this time of the year, permies all over the place in autumn, in temperate autumn environments, are collecting leaves. They are considered gold, not something to put in plastic bags and take to the tip or burn. They're actually considered like, wow, this is the soil building we need over winter in order to return crops and summer abundance.